The moment the doctor folded the report and looked away, Miles Harrington understood that his life had crossed into a place where ordinary rules no longer applied. He stood in the hospital hallway with its flickering lights and antiseptic smell, feeling as though the floor beneath him had thinned to glass. In his hands was a diagnosis that carried numbers instead of mercy, timelines instead of hope. Somewhere behind a closed door, his 5-year-old son was sleeping with tubes taped to his small arm, unaware that his father was being forced to consider the unthinkable. Love had always felt limitless to Miles, but that morning he learned it could be measured in organs, in blood, in how much of yourself you were willing to give away just to buy time. If this opening already stirred something inside you, if you believe that kindness, second chances, and humanity still matter in a hard world, take a moment right now to like this video, share it, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this survive because people like you choose to believe in them. Miles had not planned to be a single father. Life had decided that for him when his wife passed away 2 years earlier, leaving behind silence where laughter used to live. Since then, everything he did revolved around his son, Owen. He worked nights unloading trucks, slept in short broken stretches, and learned how to braid hospital wristbands into toys just to make Owen smile. Owen had been born with a rare kidney disorder, one that worsened quietly, stealing strength little by little. At first there were medications, then frequent checkups, then hospital stays that stretched from days into weeks. Miles sold his car, his tools, even the watch his father had given him, telling himself none of it mattered as long as Owen kept breathing. When the specialist finally said the words transplant required, Miles felt strangely calm. Panic had burned out of him long ago, replaced by focus. The waiting list was long. The cost was impossible. Insurance covered almost nothing. He nodded, thanked the doctor, and walked out into the cold afternoon feeling as though the world had narrowed to a single decision. That night, after Owen fell asleep clutching his worn stuffed bear, Miles opened his laptop and searched places a desperate man searches when hope runs out. Hidden behind warnings and shadows, he found them. Private brokers, illegal offers. A price for a kidney that could save his child. The idea terrified him, but terror felt smaller than losing Owen. Across the city, in a tower of glass and steel, lived Laurel Whitmore, a woman whose name carried weight in boardrooms and headlines. As CEO of a rapidly growing medical technology company, she was known for her discipline, her ethics, and her refusal to play games. She had built her career on the belief that healthcare should protect the vulnerable, not destroy them financially. Yet despite all her influence, her life felt oddly distant from real suffering filtered through reports and statistics. That distance cracked the day she visited a non-profit clinic as part of a routine partnership review. Laurel noticed Miles immediately, not because he asked for help, but because he didn't. He sat quietly, shoulders slightly hunched, filling out forms with careful handwriting, stopping often to reread instructions as if afraid of making a mistake he couldn't afford. When the volunteer explained his case, Laurel listened without interrupting. She learned about Owen, about the job, about the choice Miles was nearing. There was no drama in his words, no self-pity. Just truth laid bare. For the first time in years, Laurel felt anger rise, sharp and personal, not at a person, but at a system that cornered a father into selling pieces of himself. She did not offer sympathy. She offered action. Quietly, without press or announcements, Laurel looked into Owen's medical file, consulted specialists, and uncovered legal paths that could change everything, if only the barriers could be removed. She asked Miles to meet her again, framing it as follow-up assistance. When they sat across from each other, she placed a pen on the table, a simple object that carried an impossible proposal. She explained that she could cover Owen's treatment, secure access to advanced trials, and guarantee long-term care. Then she explained the obstacle, policy, legality, time. And finally, she offered the solution that stunned them both: marriage. Not romance, not charity, but a binding decision that would cut through red tape and protect a child. Miles did not answer right away. Pride fought survival inside him. He had already lost so much, and now even his dignity felt at risk. He worried about rumors, about being seen as a man who traded his life for money. But that night, sitting beside Owen's hospital bed, watching his son struggle for breath, Miles understood something with painful clarity. A father's love is not measured by how proud he stands, but by how far he is willing to fall if it means his child can stand taller someday. He agreed. The months that followed changed all of them. Owen's treatment began immediately, aggressive but hopeful. Machines that once signaled fear became symbols of progress. Miles moved into Laurel's guest house, awkward at first, careful not to cross invisible lines. Laurel discovered the reality behind the number she had fought for all her life. She saw how Miles never missed a dose, never complained, never stopped believing even on the worst days. Miles, in turn, saw Laurel beyond her titles, saw the quiet loneliness behind her strength, the way she stayed up late, researching medical journals instead of sleeping, the way she watched Owen as if memorizing proof that her choice mattered. Public reaction came fast and harsh. Headlines questioned motives. Online comments dissected age, wealth, and power. But inside the walls they shared, something unexpected began to grow. Trust arrived. Slowly, then comfort, then a sense of family neither had planned but both needed. Owen improved. Color returned to his face. Laughter echoed through halls that once felt too large and empty. For the first time since his wife's death, Miles allowed himself to imagine a future not defined by loss. A year later, a suitable donor was found through legal channels. The surgery was long, tense, and successful. When Owen woke up smiling, free of tubes, Miles broke down in a way he never had before. Laurel stood beside him, not as a rescuer, not as a CEO, but as someone who had chosen to step into another human being's pain and stay. If this story has touched your heart even a little, if it reminded you that compassion can still rewrite destinies, please take a moment now to like the video, share it, and support the channel. Your engagement helps stories like this reach people who desperately need hope. Before we end, we have one special request. Please go to the comments and write what kindness means to you, or simply type a word that reflects how this story made you feel. Miles never sold a kidney. Laurel never lost herself by helping. And Owen, once a fragile child on borrowed time, became living proof that when empathy meets courage, miracles don't always arrive as lightning bolts. Sometimes they arrive as a pen on a table and the brave decision to say yes.